Good morning. It's nice to see a full room. Welcome to Celebrate JA Breakfast. My name's Amy Murray. I'm the area manager for Junior Achievement in Walla Walla, and I'm excited that you're here today. And from the video clip that you just saw, speaks to something that Junior Achievement believes in, and that is that every young person has the boundless potential and that anything truly is possible. So I'm going to turn it over to the MC now, and please welcome Jed Maines of CAP's Broadcast Group.
All right, thank you, Amy. Well, welcome to the first ever Junior Achievement, Celebrate Junior Achievement breakfast here in Walla Walla. Thank you for everybody showing up here today. Just a show of hands, how many of you, this is your first time here? I know it's a little early for jokes. Some of you didn't raise your hand, but as she stated, I am from CAP's Broadcast Group. My name is Jed Maines. You might recognize my voice from 107.7 Hot FM, or you might not, let's be honest. We also have stations like 103.5 K-Woot and ESPN Walla Walla, which is my personal favorite. As business people, as parents, community leaders, elected officials, we have this great opportunity to ask ourselves this question: is the next generation ready to innovate, ready to be entrepreneurial, ready to be empowered, ready to actually be the future? Because that's what kids are. They are the future. I mean, they have this small little bit that they're in school, and then actually the rest of their life is a really big chunk. We kind of forget about that sometimes. Well, Junior Achievement is ready to answer that question, that yes, we are ready to empower our kids for the future. We are ready to send them out into the real world. So this morning we get the great opportunity to see the way that Junior Achievement is achieving that in our community and across the state of Washington. So I'm really excited to hear from some students and to hear from some people who really believe in what Junior Achievement is doing right now. At this time, I'd like to thank our major sponsor, GISA Credit Union. Without them, this event would not have been possible. So could we give them a round of applause? Thank you, GISA. Well, our first presenter today, he's someone who's pretty much spent his whole life as part of the Junior Achievement program. As a high school student, he participated in the JA Company program, and as an adult, he has worked tirelessly to provide JA to hundreds of thousands of young people across the state of Washington for 30 years. So please join me in welcoming President and CEO of Junior Achievement of Washington, Mr. David Moore.
I blame this on my doctor. I was in the doctor's office on Friday saying my heel and my Achilles is really painful. And he's looking at this x-ray and he says, he looks up at me and he goes, you've over-exercised. And I said, I was in here 4 months ago and you said I was overweight. And I said I lost 20 pounds, and now you tell me I've over-exercised. Can you give me a break? And he said, I'll give you a break, but he says, now you're going to overdo it and go over to Walla Walla and speak. And I said, I called my daughter last night, who, as I was in pain, trying to hope I'd be okay. And my daughter said, Dad, you know what I do, don't you? And I said, I know, you're an attorney. No, what kind of attorney, Dad? Well, a medical defense attorney. She says, I'm not going to give you any sympathy. If your doctor told you to stay home, stay home. But then she said, but I can tell you this, I know you're going to go because you're overwhelmed by the passion and the support and the dedication that so many of you have brought to this region, to this city, to this part of the state. And I would not miss it for the world to say thank you to you for all that you do for Junior Achievement. I'd like to say I'm also overwhelmed with the fact and very thankful that we have some great folks here today at the breakfast. I first of all would like for all of, we have a few board members from Tri-Cities. I'll tell you that is one of the best run boards and the best run programs, not only in the state, but across America. In Southeast Washington, we have the board in Tri-Cities. I'd like for those board members to stand and for you to give them a round of applause. And I also want to say that I want to welcome and thank Drew Bledsoe for being here. Drew is certainly not only someone who you can admire for his athletic prowess, but you can also admire him for being one of America's great entrepreneurs. And when we look at football today, and we're doing some work with Russell Wilson in Seattle, and he spoke of you and talked about the work that you're doing. And I told him I was going to be over here. It's amazing how much respect not only this community has for Drew, but for what he's doing for the community and for taking time to be here today. Young people need strong role models to model, and Drew Bledsoe is one of those. Thank you for coming and being with us today. And we have a number of educators here in the audience, and I know that you took time out of a busy schedule. I tell you, everywhere I go, I tell people we have the finest educators ever in the history of America. They have some of the greatest challenges they've ever been presented with in the history of America. And I can tell you without question, they are the finest and they are the best. I've had the great fortune of working with Bruce Hawkins. This morning I met Dr. Bill Jordan. I think Tim Payne. Is Tim here? From College Place. Tim was, wow, what a leader. We had the opportunity to meet with Tim at our JA World facility that inspires so many young people in Yakima. And I know College Place is going to be very engaged. And we just want to do every single thing that we can to support this community, to provide you with the volunteers that we need to provide to go into the classroom. Susan Philipper is here. She's the director of our regional programs for Southeast Washington. You met Amy just a minute ago. They are the finest of the finest, and we are so fortunate to have them as a part of Junior Achievement. My purpose today is to just share with you a couple of comments regarding the state of K-12 education as Junior Achievement sees it, and only from one small aspect or dynamic. And that is, it was presented to me about 2 months ago. We were called by the Gallup poll folks. You know, you've read all their books that talk about inspiring, salesmanship and support. Well, they just recently did some polls and they said, we want Junior Achievement to hear about this. So we met in San Diego, and they showed us some slides, and they said the reason why we want to talk to you is because this is right square in the wheelhouse of Junior Achievement. This is your sweet spot. You believe that every child has boundless potential. You believe that you can help every child to be thinking about creating a roadmap for success. And they shared us with a number of studies. I don't think they have it on the screen here, but I just want to share this with you. This is very new information. There's going to be a book written, as they always do, about this. And while they have a great admiration for the education community today and the teachers and the administrators, administration, they really also believe that Junior Achievement is a strong component that needs to go into the classroom. One of the things they discovered was, as they polled this over the last 10 years, that they said the percentage of businesses that close have remained pretty steady. But the businesses that are starting have always been higher than the businesses that are closing. What we discovered in the last 2 years is that those lines have crossed, and that we have fewer startup businesses and we have more closings. And he said that's a challenge to anyone. As we looked at it, we thought about what inspires young entrepreneurs. And they started looking about the optimism, and they polled kids in the 5th grade through the 12th grade. And the question that they asked was, how optimistic are you about future job prospects? And they described that and explained it to 5th graders and all the way through 12th grade. And they found out that almost 75% of the girls in the 5th grade were optimistic about future job opportunities. They discovered that about 60% of the boys were optimistic about future job opportunities. But then, and you can't see it from this slide, but maybe the first row there, you can see what happens from the 1st grade, or from the 5th grade to the 8th grade. Each year, our young people become less optimistic, less positive about the future and about what is in front of them. And it shouldn't be. And the big challenge that we have is not only are we seeing kids losing their optimism about the future, we're seeing the girls' optimism drop more quickly than the boys. So finally, when you get to high school, less than 50% of our young women are optimistic about the future, and more at about 50% of our young men are optimistic about the future. They also did a study to find out why. And so they polled colleges and universities. They talked about entrepreneurship. They talked about all the opportunities that kids have. And they said, what is the one common denominator for junior achievement? It's that you bring, first of all, is that you believe in the boundless energy of every single child, the boundless potential of every young person. And so as they studied it more, they said, this is what we need to be doing. We need to making sure that we have stronger partnerships of education and business going into the classroom at an early age. And I will tell you today, some of the students that you're going to be hearing from are young people who have overcome great odds. There's some young people that come from very affluent families, and all of them have the same needs. All of them have the same desires. They want to be successful. They want to realize their dreams. And so what you're going to hear this morning is so critically important to a new community that really has embraced junior achievement, to say these are the young people that are going to be driving the future of America. These are the young people that we need to keep inspired and motivated about the future. And so please welcome these young people as they speak this morning, and most importantly, thank you so very much for being here, and thank you for all as a community embracing the work of junior achievement. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Well, up next, we have another veteran in his field, another 30-year career. He started off 16 years as a math teacher, 14 years as a school administrator, all in the public school district of Walla Walla. He did some teaching at Walla High, and now he is at Pioneer Middle School. He grew up in a small town in eastern Montana, and he went on to receive his Bachelor's of Arts from Carroll College in Helena, Montana, and a Master's of Education from Washington State. He has served on JA's Southeastern Region Board of Directors for 7 years. Would you please give a warm welcome to Mr. Ron Higgins.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Jed. I've got to tell you, I am a JA believer. In my 30 years experience working in the Walla Public Schools, I've had just a lot of wonderful experiences. One in 1988, my 3rd year of teaching a first period honors algebra 3A, 4A class at Walla Walla High School. There was a young 15, maybe 16-year-old man who I could tell had a lot of potential. He understood how to factor trinomials. And yet he also understood how to, well, he could throw a football pretty well, and he could read blitzes and pick up defenses pretty well as well. So he went on to do some other things besides continuing his love and passion for mathematics, but he was very talented at it. Now, not every student in those days had that particular skill, but many were awfully skilled. And I have to admit, kind of in an embarrassing fashion, there were times where a student would say, "Mr. Higgins, what can I do? I love math. I want to do something." And I kind of felt inadequate providing great advice because I'd been an educator, so I said, "Be a math teacher," to perpetuate the math teaching profession. JA steps in. Today, our students have the opportunity to hear from people in the field. those that are actually doing the work on entrepreneurship, those who are owning their own small business, who are working with financial literacy. We've got opportunities for our students to hear from those in the field, having it make sense. It might be a bank loan officer, an insurance agent. It could be someone that works as a financial advisor, an insurance agent, or a small business owner. And the key to JA's success is definitely not only in the good curriculum that it provides, but into the great, talented volunteers that we have. This school year alone, JA has served nearly 1,300 students in our valley. Now that's a significant impact, and it couldn't happen without amazing volunteers. So I'd like to take time right now to just recognize all of our JA volunteers who are with us this morning. So if you have ever taught a JA program, would you please stand and accept our thanks and be recognized at this time? JA volunteers. Thank you to each and every one of you. You're the ones that bring the JA programs to life for our students, and we appreciate your commitment to our students and to helping in our schools. And now finally, it's my pleasure to introduce two students today who will share their own JA experiences. We have Pioneer Middle School 7th grader, Caitlin Pitzer, and Walla Walla High School sophomore, Poppy Small. Please join me in welcoming these two wonderful students.
Hi everybody, my name is Caitlin Pitzer and I'm a 7th grade student at Pioneer Middle School. I was born here in Walla Walla and I'm from a family of 5. I have a family dog named Lady that is turning 13 years old soon. I enjoy playing softball and piano, and I've been playing both of those things for about 5 years. I have a sister in high school and a little brother in elementary school. My dad is a counselor at Garrison Middle School and my mom is a personal trainer. I love to help in and outside of school. I would like to get involved in NJHS, which stands for National Juniors Honor Society. When I grow up, I would like to become an ultrasound technician. Going into JA in Mr. Blocklinger's room, I was unsure of what I wanted to be when I grew up. Junior Achievement has helped me know exactly what I want. It has also helped me be more aware of the money I spend. In the classroom, we did many activities that made us more knowledgeable about life and money. We played lots of games that were fun, but they also worked our brains. We had opportunities to work and engage with our classmates during the activities. We also learned about how insurance works. In one session, our JA teacher handed out a card that had an occupation on it. Then we went around the classroom and had to figure out things like what kind of house we could buy and how much food we could buy for the month. It was very beneficial. When I was at Barney Elementary, our whole 5th grade class participated in the JA BizTown program. Our teachers prepped us for about 2 months before going on a day-long trip to the JA World facility in Yakima. In the JA World, I was a sales manager. I worked with the CEO and set prices on our items we sold. One thing I really enjoyed about JA World was that it really felt like you were an adult. You had to make all your own decisions. Once we got there, we started working. Then, after we worked our shift, we got a paycheck. We had our lunch break and got to go to fun little shops. Then we had our next shift and went back to work. JA World also showed me how to be responsible with my money. Not only was JA World a lot of fun, it also showed me how to manage my money and how important it is to stay in school. In our 7th grade junior achievement class, I personally learned a lot. I learned the difference between a debit card and a credit card, why putting budgets on things were important, and it really made me want to go to college and meet my goals. I think that it would be very beneficial to have junior achievement classes in the future because many kids don't think about how important it is to put budgets on things and to go to college. I hope this informed you on how much I enjoyed BizTown and how important it is to go through junior achievement class. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. My name is Poppy Small. I am a sophomore at Walla Walla High School and I am currently serving as the president of my class. I'm here to tell you a little bit about myself and how individuals like yourselves and organizations like Junior Achievement have positively impacted my lives and the lives of other students. This year, my AVID class participated in a JA program called Career Success. Participating in this program helped me solidify what I already knew about myself and my goals for the future. As a kid, I would sketch out my most recent inventions, and take them to my dad for approval in hopes that he would see a suitable marketing opportunity on the horizon. I've always felt pulled into the direction of entrepreneurship and know that I would attend a 4-year university and go on to own my own business. The activities and lessons facilitated by Dustin Brown and my avid teacher, Julie Cox, helped me to see the connection between what I'm learning in school and my future aspirations. As long as I can remember, I've been part of a team. Growing up in a 5th-generation wheat farming family, I've learned what hard work truly is. I've always been involved in wheat harvest, whether it be driving bank-out wagon or running the elevator. I've been consistently influenced by the positive examples my older brothers and parents have set for me. As entrepreneurs and successful business owners from an early age, they have inspired me and pushed me toward my goal of owning my own business. Their actions have encouraged me to be an innovative and critical thinker. The support and encouragement I receive from my family pushes me to work to the best of my abilities to cut out a solid path for my own future. Another influential part of my life is my AVID class, Advancement via Individual Determination. AVID is a college preparatory program whose mission is to hold students accountable to the highest standards and to provide academic and social support as students prepare for college readiness and success. Because of my involvement in AVID, I have been able to reach new personal and academic heights with the support and encouragement from my teacher, Mrs. Cox, as well as my peers. In the classroom, we are an extended family, a team that works together to set and achieve both short and long-term goals and to help one another along the way. The JA lessons presented by Dustin focused on creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. These were referred to as the 4 C's. These are some of the same concepts we have focused on in AVID class, and having them brought to life in mock interviews as well as workplace skits helps us to see how these skills are crucial to our success. As a class, we participated in numerous activities and challenges designed to help us develop the soft skills we need to be successful both now and in the future. For example, we were challenged to create the tallest and most sturdy structure we could out of 3x5 cards in paper clips in 5 minutes. In order to do this, each of the 4 C's were very important. Some groups lacked in creativity and their structures never really got anywhere past the pile of paper clips and cards. Others failed to communicate, letting one person take over with no sharing of ideas. These also failed. The 2 groups that communicated the most and solved problems collaboratively had the best structures in the end. This activity was fairly simple, but it was a really good eye-opener for the entirety of the class. Because we know each other so well, we tend to let the leaders lead and the followers follow. That model does not promote success and never will, which was obvious when the timer went off. Following this activity, it was easy to see that teamwork is key in any task. Each person on the team has a role to play, and when each member works hard and supports the rest of the team, there is an opportunity for success. In the end, we learned that success isn't determined solely by academic and technical skills. It has a lot to do with being a good teammate, communicating, supporting, and encouraging others to work hard and achieve their goals. Thank you for providing me the opportunity to speak with you this morning. By supporting programs like Junior Achievement and AVID in Walla Walla schools, you are helping students like me gain confidence in the skills needed to become leaders in all areas of our future. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Caitlin and Poppy, for giving us a really eye-opening glimpse into what Junior Achievement is doing. That's the reason we're here this morning, right there. Well, without further ado, I'd like to get to our keynote speaker here. They tell me he's a man who needs no introduction. That's good because I was up all night last night trying to find something online about him. I just couldn't find. It's another joke, sorry. Of course, he graduated from Walla Walla High School. He went on to become an All-American selection as he played for the Washington State Cougars in college. He went on to have an illustrious 14-year career in the NFL as a professional quarterback. He retired in 2006, and he returned to his roots, no pun intended, when he came back to this region and became the true face of what an entrepreneur really is. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you please give a warm Walla Walla welcome to Mr. Drew Bledsoe.
Just because of my former profession, I like to be able to move. I don't like confined spaces. Usually stuck in some pretty confined spaces with really big angry men trying to hurt me, so I like to move. Before I start, I want to express sort of an apology, but also an appreciation for Ron Higgins. You know, that math class that you taught that morning, I really did try to stay awake. But I was growing, you know, breakfast, it's hard. But I do want it to, this may sound like a backhanded compliment, but I'm going to bring it out of the ditch. I don't really remember the math you taught me, but I do remember you were one of the teachers that believed in me and believed in my friends. And that's what I took away from that, so thank you. So I was 21 years old, had gone from, I was 3 years out of Walla, had gone to Washington State, and I found myself in Pasadena, California, sitting at a table, and I can remember it like it was yesterday. Actually, I wasn't 21, I was 20. It was before the Super Bowl that was down there, and I look around the table that I'm sitting at, and it's John Elway, it's Dan Marino, it's Steve Young, it's Troy Aikman, Warren Moon, Boomer Esiason, and did I say Joe Montana? Yeah, Montana was over here. And man, it's like I landed on the moon. And so I did the only thing I knew how to do, which was to sit there and shut up and listen. And it's interesting to me as I've transitioned into being a business owner, when I find myself in rooms like this with accomplished business owners, I would much rather be that guy that's sitting there listening rather than being the guy up on stage. So I'll try to make this interesting for you, but please know that when I'm in a room like this, I would much rather be listening rather than talking. You know, I've lived through some interesting transitions in life, and I've tried to learn at each step. And the greatest privilege that I've had as now a business owner is that I've been able to surround myself with smart people and accomplished people, and I try at every turn to sit back and listen. And you know, learning a little bit about junior achievement and what it's about, man, the importance of what you guys are doing is incalculable. Did I say that right? Higgy?
Yeah.
Good, thanks. All right. But it truly is. The ripple effect of the mentorship that you supply for these young people down the road, you know, you just can't truly appreciate the magnitude of what that is, and I so appreciate it. So I was 35 years old. I was looking at retiring. You know, there's so many great things about the amazing dream of being a professional athlete, and I truly embraced and loved almost every component of it. But one of the downsides is that when you're way over the hill if you make it to your mid-30s, and they show you the door and cast you off to the rest of your life, and you know, there are some challenges involved in that. And one of those is that you know, you've lived a very structured and protected and you know, life where, you know, you're told where to go, what to do, what to eat, what to wear, you know, all of these things, and so you never really are forced to actually grow up, honestly, in your mid-30s. You're coddled and told what to do and where to be, and highly compensated, and get to play a game until you're 35. So there were some challenges when I looked at that transition. But one of the interesting things that, along with the challenge of that transition, was that I found that there also were great parallels in almost every facet of business that went right back to what I learned when I was playing ball and quarterbacking a team and being a part of a franchise and a leadership role. I want to just for maybe not necessarily an education for this group, but as an interesting topic, I want to share with you just a few of the things that I found that went from that were strong parallels from football into business. You know, the first one is is really quite obvious probably, and that's just leadership. You know, as excuse me. playing quarterback in the NFL, I'm not sure that there's another arena that I can name where where you have the opportunity or the obligation to lead a more diverse group of people. You know, you literally have, Max Lane, farm boy from Norburn, Missouri, and Bruce Armstrong, who grew up on the streets of Miami, and Pat Harlow, who grew up on the beaches of Southern California, and I'm the small town kid from Walla Walla, and I have to lead this group and try to bring everybody together and aim them toward a common goal. And there's some things that I learned. The group that I led, surprisingly, professional football players are a reasonably intelligent group, at least on the offensive side of the ball. The defensive guys, maybe not so much. But there are some exceptions that were leadership challenges, if you will. We had a receiver named Vincent Brisby that played for me for 6 or 7 years. And I remember going with Briz. We went to dinner, and we were sitting there, and the waiter came around, or the waitress came around and said, we've got this great special on filet mignon. And I'm like, okay, well, that sounds great. I'll have filet mignon. And Troy Brown said, yeah, that sounds good. I'll have filet mignon. Sean Jefferson, same thing. Mr. Brisby, would you like the filet mignon? He goes, nah, I don't like fish. She came back around at the end of dinner, and we got this great special. It's apple pie a la mode. Oh, that sounds great. Yeah, apple pie a la mode. I'm from Washington. Love some apple pie. Same thing. Troy Brown. Yeah, apple pie a la mode. Mr. Brisby, would you like some apple pie a la mode? Oh yeah, that sounds good. But put some ice cream on mine. There's one unnamed defensive back, and I'll leave his name out of it for his own protection. But we were sitting around after practice one day in the locker room. There was a couple of quarterbacks and I. We were talking about our 401k program. We really, in the NFL, even at that time, it was outstanding. There were 2-to-1 match. It was great. And we were talking about how are you going to allocate yours? What are you going to do? And our defensive back friend overhears our conversation, and he looks over at us and goes, man, I don't care what they pay me. I ain't running no 401k. So there were some leadership challenges, if you will. But one of the things, honestly, that was most important, that I think is really an amazing parallel from football to business, is that you have to put people in positions as a leader. You put people in positions where they can succeed. If they put me at left tackle, man, I would have tried my hardest. I would have really tried hard to be a great left tackle, but we would not win very many games. And if we took Chris Drebeck in high school and put him under center as quarterback, man, he would have tried really hard. Drebeck, you would have tried hard, but I've seen you throw, man. It would have been bad. And as the owner and leader of a business, I feel like it's just my job to try and put people in positions where they can succeed, and don't ask them to do things they can't do, but then give them tasks that I know that they can do, and give them as much support as I can. The other thing that is just such a strong parallel from business, or am I doing something wrong? Am I holding this wrong? Who knows about how this works? Is it battery? All right. Here. Anyway, adaptability. That's right. One of the other really strong parallels is planning. When you play professional football, you spend your whole life planning. You spend a whole off season planning your offense and your defense, and putting together a team, and drafting and free agency, and then you spend your entire week leading up to a game planning. And this is how we're going to attack this defense, and this is how we're going to approach this game. And that process is so important, both in football and in business, to have that plan in place. Now, as we all know, those plans change. Almost invariably, those plans change. But that process of planning, understanding how to work through a plan and develop a strategy and have something as a framework to then adjust off of is so important. In our wine business, one of the great privileges that we have is that it's really slow. And it allows us a lot of time to truly plan and analyze every step as it comes down. And so we spend a lot of time and effort in almost every aspect of our business planning, just like we did back in my ball days. The problem is, with that plan, as you can probably imagine, you develop an entire plan based on getting the ball to one guy in football. Like, oh, hey, Terry Glenn can win this matchup all the time. Well, sometimes Terry Glenn sprains an ankle in the first quarter. And that's where the last one that I'll mention becomes so important, and that's adaptability. As you guys are mentoring these young people, make sure that that's part of your message to them. I know that everybody in this room that has been in business, has run businesses, owned businesses, been in any sort of an influential position in your business or in your life, you know that it never goes, it doesn't always go smoothly, and you have to be able to adapt, and you have to be able to overcome in business just like you do in life. And I know that while our economy is strong and things are generally good now, I think we've all been through some adversity in the last 7-8 years. So you have to be able to adapt. I'll close with this. I've truly lived a privileged life, and I say that often, but the privilege of my life only has about this much to do with football. I was sharing this with one of my good friends and mentors who came up with me on this trip. I really count it as one of the great privileges in life to have grown up in this community. And the reason is this. There were so many people as I was growing up that touched and helped and mentored and taught and supported me, and allowed me, quite honestly, the freedom to go do what I did, and know that I, number one, had a safety net. I could always come back here, but number two, just the lessons that were taught on a daily basis by the people in this community that went with me forever. And so I thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart for being a part of Junior Achievement, for mentoring young people. And I want to leave you with just one story from my own life. It's kind of cool. There are a couple people that are here from Waterville, which is a little town we lived in until third grade. Drebeck was challenging my memory earlier. He thought I moved here, and I'm right, you're wrong. Damn it. I was in third grade, and I was in Waterville, Washington. My dad was a football coach, and remember it like it was yesterday. I came out to practice with Dad as I often did, and I slid down the railing by the stairs, and I walked across the track, and I picked up a football, which was probably this big to me when I was 7 or 8 years old. And I remember I picked the thing up, and I threw it to a guy by the name of Keith Batten, who, and I haven't seen Keith probably since I was in third grade, and I know that he was probably not a very big guy. Played football at Waterville High School for the Shockers. I think they were 8-man football at the time. But as a third grader, those high school football players might as well have been NFL guys, to me. I mean, they were my heroes. I'm walking out there, they wearing their pads, and they're, wearing the helmet and playing for my dad. So I picked up this football and I threw it at Keith Batten, and something happened, like it spiraled and went over there, and he caught it, and he looks at my dad and he goes, "Man, Bledsoe, kid's got a pretty good arm." And I remember that at that point, there was a seed planted, that then eventually, went on to play NFL quarterback. And I mean, is that a direct relationship? Of course not. But that seed was planted that day. And that's what you guys are doing as mentors. As you guys go talk to these kids, you're planting seeds. And you never know what's going to germinate into a business. But as you guys are out talking to these young children, just know it's important. It's so important. And as Ron Higgins said earlier, giving them the inspiration that, hey, if you're good in math, you're good in English, maybe you're not good in any of those things. Maybe, maybe your skills lie elsewhere. But if you can impart in these young people just one seed of, I'm important, I have a skill here, that can germinate into things that will benefit not only our community, but our country. So thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, Drew. We're going to have another student up here, Daniela Murguia, but David Moore knows a lot more about her, so we're going to have David introduce her. David?
I'm feeling better. Drew, thank you very much. I tell you, I had the opportunity to be in Olympia with Coach Carroll not too long ago, and I talked to him a little bit about the work that they're doing at the University of Pennsylvania with Angela Duckworth, and I'd had the opportunity to meet with Angela. She is spot on with everything that Drew told you this morning, that if these kids see, if you plant that seed, if they look within themselves and they say, I can do this, and you talk about academic buoyancy, because every child runs into those blocks, and where do you go? You back up and you go again in another direction. That's a successful entrepreneur. That's a successful anything. People say, Junior Achievement, isn't that program where you teach kids how to run a business? Well, the answer to that is yes, if the business you're talking about is their lives. And I think that's what you're going to hear right now from Daniela Murguia. And I was introduced to Daniela about, maybe a year ago. I called one of the teachers because I was speaking at a breakfast, something like this, and one of the volunteers, or one of the folks that were at the breakfast said, I would have reached a little deeper if you really had to grab my heart. And we go to all these things, and I've never felt that way about Junior Achievement. We want to grab you right here. We want to grab you. We want you to know our success in the future of America depends on what we do for our kids today. And I thought that's enough. But I called a teacher just in wanting to know. And he had taught Junior Achievement for 25 years, Linwood High School. And I said to Don Ide, I said, Don, you've inspired so many kids. Are there any stories that you could tell me about young people who really Junior Achievement will have a lasting impact on their life, that there's certainty there? And he looks at me, and you only can understand this if you know Don Ide, but he said, well, David, I'll tell you, can I send some kids over to you tomorrow? And he wanted to he sent me two young ladies the next day, Daniela and also Megan Longfellow. I learned from Megan that day that she had battled drugs, she had battled alcohol, she had dropped out of school when she was 9 years old. She had witnessed the death of friends in drug overdoses. It was the most tragic story I had ever heard. And she talked about how Junior Achievement had helped her have a life and to rethink her future. Then I met Daniela, and her story to me was even more inspiring. And so we've asked her to speak to you today because she's a young person who had that academic buoyancy. She's the one young person that Drew talked about where you plant that seed and they believe anything is possible. And she has what we call, and what Coach Carroll talks, he said true grit, which is what the University of Pennsylvania talks about a lot. Here's a young lady with true grit, Daniela Murguia.
Can you see me? Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Moore. What an honor it is to be here with you this morning, representing the 108,000 Washington youth who are lucky enough to get junior achievement programs. For me, they were life-changing. So the first thing I want to share with you this morning is I have come to love high school. These last 4 years of my high school journey have been the hardest, yet most accomplished years of my life. Although I come from a financially conflicted Hispanic family, I am here standing today as a senior in high school with graduation waiting for me around the corner. The most important reason for my love for high school is my involvement with junior achievement and because of my parents. When I was just a little girl, my parents always talked to me about attending a university. My mother would always say, "Tú nunca te irás de esta casa hasta que tu diploma esté colgado en mi pared," which translates to, "You will not leave my roof until the day your bachelor's diploma is hanging on my wall." Since I was just a little girl, I knew university was definitely a must in my life, without a doubt. As I grew up, I began to understand more and more why they were so insistent about advanced education. My mom had a much harder financial situation than I have ever experienced. When she was young, my mom had to learn how to cut hair at the age of 10 in order to help my grandmother at her hair salon. My mom, being the eldest out of her 2 other siblings and without a father, she had to be the father figure in her family. She started working and working harder every day for money to support the family, and she attended school at the time as well. Soon, she had to drop out of middle school to bring food to the table day by day and afford the roof they needed to live under. My mom's aspirations of being a doctor or a lawyer and higher education quickly vanished into thin air. My father, on the other hand, was unfortunate to have lost his father at only the age of 11, requiring his mother to handle 9 of her children on her own. My dad had to drop out during high school because my grandma was not able to pay for school for all 9 of her children. Like my mother, he aspired to gain a career and further his education. They loved studying. My parents have always cultivated in my sisters and I to embrace our education and attend a university, no matter what obstacles comes along our path. So that is why we decided to move here, to the United States. As an 11-year-old little girl, I had no idea such a change would affect us so deeply because, well, we financially cracked when we first established in the United States. The very first years were the hardest to endure, and it still is. I remember my 2 parents and my 2 other sisters and I having to live in a 2-bedroom and 1-bathroom apartment with another family of 5. We had no furniture nor silverware. We had to sleep on the floor with towels underneath to make it a little more bearable, and we had to eat on cardboard boxes while sitting on the floor. My mom would lie, and she would say, "I'm gonna go buy milk," but would always come back empty-handed, saying the store was closed or something of the sort. She later on confessed to us that the times she did that, she would actually go out knocking door by door to look for a job or just cry, so we wouldn't see her, because in reality, there was not even enough money for milk. I hated this phase of my life, and I wanted to just give up. I hated school, the language acquisition and the lack of money, and having to wear the same clothing day by day, It was just the hardest and most overwhelming to take at just the age of 11. The transition between 8th and 9th grade was a crucial stage for me. For I always had in my mind I wanted to go into university. That has been my life goal. However, I started to get more and more discouraged because of our financial situation. My mother daily worked 10 hours, if not more, while my dad did manual labor, mostly piecework, and my sister and I felt compelled to help our family, so we helped him. I hated having to help, but I knew I had to do something for my family to help because that extra money was really, really necessary to us. After this, I just clearly started to see and notice the hardship my parents were going through, and I completely just wanted to quit and not try at school anymore. My big dreams of making my parents proud, of being the first one to graduate high school and to go into college and to gain a career degree in our family, all started to slip away from my fingertips. I stopped trying and was at the verge of quitting school and work to help my parents with money. They kept pushing me through because they never asked of me or any of my sisters to ever quit school to work, ever. So they kept pushing me through until in my sophomore year, I had my first business class with Mr. Donide, who pulled me in and showed me the world of junior achievement. The turning point in my life began the moment I joined Junior Achievement and volunteered and collaborated with Junior Achievement events. From the Dare to Dream auction, the Hall of Fame, to the JA Takeover and Finance Park, these events have deeply affected my life gradually. JA didn't just encourage me to keep pursuing my all-time life goal of attending a university, but it made me just so involved with school in every way. I started studying more and more each day, going to the library almost every day right after school to study and get assignments done, and it has gotten me to where I am today. Here as a senior, starting my college classes through the Running Start program. Starting college classes during high school was something I could not see myself doing, but here I am, starting courses to get closer to gaining my business degree, thanks to JA. The field I aspire for, thanks to JA. The things I have accomplished and the things that I have learned from JA, I will carry with me my whole life, just by seeing the look on my mother's eyes, the pride she carries in them when I talk to her about my JA accomplishments and events. That's how I know that Junior Achievement has helped me to get what I valued most ever since I was a young little girl, to make my parents proud, and to receive my high school diploma and work very hard towards the completion of my university studies. I'm thankful for Junior Achievement for their contribution to my life. And as Mr. Moore said now, thanks to Junior Achievement, I will receive a generous scholarship from the Tackable Foundation. And if I continue to work hard, study hard, and get good grades, the Tackable Foundation will provide me with this generous scholarship all 4 years of university. Thank you, Tackable and Junior Achievement. And I want to thank you to all who are here this morning. I know JA is very new to Walla Walla, to the Walla Walla area, and you are the people who will make JA accessible to so many kids here. You have the amazing opportunity to play a major role in providing students with the life-changing Junior Achievement experiences. I know I am going to be a success. But we really need your help today to ensure more kids gain this confidence, this opportunity and drive, and this optimism about their futures. There are so many kids like me out there who need your help. Believe me, there really are so many kids out there whose lives can be changed. I ask of you this because I have come to learn that students who have a source of support and belief tend to pursue their hopes and dreams. For students that didn't have that backbone support from their parents the way I did, are the ones that JA is able to provide to them. And JA helped me with a little push that I need when I needed it the most, because without it, I worried I wouldn't have made it. JA is that one thing every student at any age should have to keep them moving forward. JA doesn't motivate their students, it gives them motives. Thank you, Junior Achievement. Please help us today with your generous support. The power of junior achievement is in the palms of your hands. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you.
Well, if you needed any more reason to get behind this, I think that's all the reason right there. That was very well put. Thank you, Daniela, for showing us, and all our students today for showing us a great picture of what junior achievement does. So, I'd like to introduce one more person to you today. He's someone who's played a key role in today's events. He is someone who's graduated from Walla Walla High School, spent his whole life in Walla Walla. He received his Bachelor of Science in Mathematics from Washington State, and he taught middle school math at Wenatchee High School, where he was coaching at Wenatchee High School, football and wrestling. He transitioned into the banking industry, and then he moved back to Walla Walla in 2004 with their 2 children, and then they had 2 more children, which makes 4. See, I'm good at math too, Craig? Yeah. You're probably much better than me, though. Since then, he has been at Blue Mountain Community Foundation Board of Trustees and Senior Vice President and Manager of Small Business and Consumer Lending at Banner Bank. Please give a warm welcome to our Celebrate Junior Achievement Breakfast Chair, Craig Sievertson.
Good morning, and thank you very much for the introduction. So my job right now is to further appeal to you, and part of that comes in the form of your time, treasure, and talent. So as you can imagine, the folks that we're trying to help most, you've heard today speak. And so what I want to do is, first of all, thank the table captains that helped get all of you here today. So you can see them all up here, so if you could give a warm round of applause to these folks. Now, what I would like to do real quickly, if you ladies don't mind, is to have Caitlin, Poppy, and Daniela join me on the stage, please. So I had some things in my own mind about what I wanted to say and how best to appeal to you to review this form that is the treasure part of your gift to junior achievement. Well, honestly, I can't say anything more. I can't say anything better than what these 3 young ladies have told you today about how impactful and meaningful junior achievement can be to the youth in our valley.
I'd like to thank all of our students, Craig for getting this set up, Gisa, Credit Union once again, and Drew, just thank you so much for sharing today. I think this has been a really, really awesome inaugural Celebrate JA breakfast, and we've got one more thing from Craig over here. So.
One last minute arrival. So what would like to present to Drew Bledsoe is a Junior Achievement Hero Award. Drew, thank you for coming today. Thank you for your support. And you truly are a Junior Achievement Hero, so thank you.
Thank you so much for making this a success. We know this is going to be a big success in Walla Walla as we move forward. Thank you, Junior Achievement Board members and directors and David for coming all the way out here. So have a great day. Thanks to CAPS Broadcast Group for giving me this opportunity, and have a great day.